Okay, I want to go over with you some of the changes that I've made to kind of tweak this assignment. You guys are used to doing these vocabulary slides, but I wanted to make them a little more or less drudgery for you and make them a little more interesting. If you'll notice, you're still going to complete them like a quadrant card with 4 steps. But this particular set of words are going to be due at the end of today. So you're going to do all 10 today. You're going to have a quiz on these 10 words on Monday. So make sure you get these done and turned in. They will be graded. So make sure you get them completed today. And remember, when you are adding an image to the slide, I'll go over how to do that in just a second. So let's move on to the first word. All right, the first word is malleable. And by the way, these words are all coming from the Ender's Game short story that we're getting ready to read. Malleable. I have your definition for you up here with your part of speech. You're still going to need to put in a synonym, just like we always do. But this time down here, I want you to put down an example of something that's malleable. And you're just going to type the word. What is an example of something malleable? And then over in the 4th quadrant, you're going to add your image. And remember, you're going to need to insert, image, search the web. Your search bar will come up on the right side, and you'll type in one of your words. Don't type in the word malleable. Type in something that is malleable, okay? Maybe type in your example of what you wrote in this box here to come up with an image. And then finally, at this point, you should have a pretty good idea of that meaning, of that definition. So write a sentence using the word malleable. And to do that, you can use your example. Let your example be the subject of your sentence. Use your image, maybe describe your image as a part of your original sentence, but make sure that you think about what you've put in these boxes and let that be what is the subject of your sentence that you use. It's much easier to do it that way. So, moving on to the next slide. I'm going to go ahead and close my image bar. The next word is rescind. Rescind. I have your definition here. And then to invalidate by a later action or a higher authority, or to revoke or repeal. Those words mean to take back something. To invalidate something means to no longer validate it. If it's validated, it's official, it's approved. But if you rescind it, it's like you've made a promise to do something, but you're taking it back. You've rescinded your decision, or you've rescinded a promise to do something. Okay? And then over here, you're going to type in an example of something that can be rescinded. Okay? What is something that could be rescinded? And then grab your image and write your sentence. The next word is supine, or some people may pronounce it supine. It's a position of the body, and it means lying on your back. It's a supine float in swimming is a back float. So you are floating on your back or lying on your back with your face up. And this time in the 3rd quadrant, you're going to answer 2 things you do when you are supine. What are 2 things you do when you are lying on your back? Okay. The next slide, vivisect. This word is similar to dissect. Okay, the difference is when you dissect something, like in science class, you're dissecting something that's dead, right? Or something that's not living. When you vivisect something, you are dissecting something that is living. Okay? Living. Here again, the question is vivisecting legal? Explain what you find on the internet. So I want you to do a little bit of research about vivisections and vivisecting and answer the question in this box based on what you find out on the internet about vivisecting. Okay? Along with filling in your image and your sentence and the other things. The next word is extenuating. Extenuating, okay? And here you're going to give an example of an extenuating circumstance, okay? Extenuating means to make fault or something that's happened appear less serious, okay? It's when somebody tries to make something like an excuse. I didn't do my work. You know, that would be an example of an extenuating circumstance. All right, the next word is renounced. It's a verb. And once you read and think about the definition and give a synonym, you're going to answer the question, what is one thing that you would renounce? What is something you would renounce? The next word is unstintingly. Unstintingly means generously, abundantly. Okay? I care about you unstintingly. So, the question is for you in the third box, what is one thing you would give unstintingly? What would you give generously or abundantly if you had the ability? What would it be? What would be one thing you would want to give unstintingly? The next word is going to be scrupulously. Having a strict regard for what is right. Doing the right thing. Doing it according to the rule, doing it the way it ought to be done. You're doing it scrupulously, okay? The question over here is, what is something that you would do scrupulously? What is something you would do scrupulously? The next word is emulate. Emulate. This word means to imitate someone that you admire because you think what they're doing is great. You think they are awesome and you want to be like them. And when you emulate them, you want to do what they do or even be better than they are. But you kind of repeat the pattern that they did because you admire them. Emulate. So your question is, who is someone you would emulate? Okay, the next word is grisly. Grisly means horrible, gruesome, formidable, grim. I think of a grizzly bear when I think of the word grizzly. And it does relate back to the definition of that adjective. It means the bear is horrible. The bear is gruesome. The bear is dangerous, formidable. But here in the third quadrant, you're going to answer, what is an example of a grisly act? What would be a grisly act? And that's your last word. Okay, as soon as you finish this final slide, complete with synonym, image, and sentence, you'll need to turn it in. And then use these words to study over the weekend because we will be doing a quiz on these words on Monday.